For 17 years, my world has revolved around finches, tiny, delicate, exotic jewels of the avian world. I mastered them, I bred them, I built an entire life around them. But in 2023, I made a decision that would change everything. I didn't tiptoe into parrots, I didn't test the waters, I leapt. 4 species at the same time: rosellas, kakarikis, plumheads, and hooded parrots. I knew nothing about any of these species. There was no safety net, no slow transition, just pure obsession and a tiny bit of insanity. I started building cages and expanding the farm, pouring every spare minute, every ounce of energy into creating what I believed would become my next big success story. And at first, I felt unstoppable. But what nobody tells you, what you don't see on Instagram or YouTube, what doesn't show up in the highlight reels, is how brutal parrots can be. The failures, the setbacks, the empty nest boxes, the questions, the self-doubt. I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. This isn't a fairy tale success story. This is a real journey, raw, unfiltered, and sometimes heartbreaking. But it's also about growth, adaptation, and refusing to quit when everything says you should. This is the story of how I went from finch breeding to stepping into the unforgiving world of parrots and discovering just how hard success really is. So I've always wanted to get parrots, but one thing that stopped me was not having the space for them. And in 2023, when we finally got this farm, that dream became a reality. But little did I know that that dream would turn sour very quickly and it would become a nightmare. Over the next 2 years, I struggled with these parrots. And finally now, we're at the beginning of the 3rd year of breeding, and I think I finally got it figured out. Okay, so maybe saying that I got it all figured out might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I am making some changes this breeding season that will hopefully help me get more chicks at the end of the season. Over the last 2 years, I've learned quite a bit, and I've realized that it's just as hard as when I first got into finches. When I first got into finches in 2009, I struggled a lot. I had a lot of upsets. It was a nightmare to figure out how to get the birds to breed, what they liked, what they ate, and so on. It takes a bit of time, and usually the best way of learning is by failing, because we often learn the most from our mistakes. So I've had a 2-year run with mistake after mistake after mistake, and I have a feeling that this year is going to be the year that I succeed, hopefully. So here's the plan for this year. In this 3rd year, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go nest by nest. I'm going to pull out all of the eggs, take them home with me, put them in the incubator that I know works and hatches the chicks out perfectly fine. And then I have a brooder that I've bought. It's called a Pet Brooder 90. It is the brooder of brooders. I mean, this thing is huge. It could fit a baby dog inside of it. It can fit multiple clutches of parrots. This thing is huge. It looks like you could put like a little baby human in there as well. But we're not going to be doing that. So I have the brooder, I have the incubator, I have the hand feeding formula, which, man, I'm kind of disappointed with the hand feeding formula and a problem that I had with the company that I've trusted and thought that they had good quality products. We'll get into that later, but I got hand feeding formula. And I even have fake eggs that I'm going to be transferring into each one of these boxes that I pull eggs out from, because I want the hens to be able to continue their normal incubation. In case I encounter any issues with my incubator or anything, I can always come back. They'll be going through their normal process of incubating, and I could throw some chicks underneath them and save it just as plan B in case anything goes south. But I think I have it all planned out. I think it's going to work great. So let's get to it. Now, I know what many of you guys might be thinking. Man, you're crazy. Why would you want to take on the task of having to hand feed so many baby birds? Well, first of all, let me just start off by saying that I love it. It is something that I truly enjoy, and it is something that I've done in the past. A couple of years ago, I grabbed all of the chicks from the Quaker parrots and I hand-fed every single one of them. Now, the chicks were ideally a little bit older. They were around 2 weeks old. You want to wait around the time that they're a week and a half to 2 weeks old. By then, they're a little bit fluffed up. They have a couple of feathers. They're able to regulate their own body temperature, so you don't have to use a brooder. But with the plum heads, I'm going to do it a little bit different. I plan on incubating the eggs. I plan on feeding since the day that they hatch. and eventually putting those chicks inside of the brooder. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to waste another year. The last 2 years have been a complete fail. So I figured this third year, I'm a bit more prepared. I have the proper equipment needed to make sure that these chicks survive since day one. Why not take another crack at it? So let's go nest by nest, cage by cage. Let's do some nest inspections. Let's see who has eggs and kind of go from there. It's still very early in the season. We're mid-February right now. So I don't expect a lot of these birds to have eggs, but they should get started very soon. So as you can see, the females are starting to shred up the nesting material and kind of, making their nest, which is normal. We want to see that movement of the nest. And here, you guys are going to notice that the water, it's a little bit yellowish. Over here, they have their seeds and vegetables. The reason why I have that yellowish water is because that water is infused with Necton S, Necton E, and Necton calcium. Since I'm feeding these birds a normal seed mix diet, has a variety of different seeds, but I have to try to up their nutritional level by incorporating vitamins and minerals inside of their water. The very first year I had them, I kept them on a pellet diet. They did really good, but I'm not gonna lie, it got expensive to have them on that pellet diet. And usually when you have them on a pellet diet, you don't have to incorporate anything into the water like calcium and vitamins because they get everything that they need from the pellet diet. It's a bit more, it's better. It's better. I'm lost for words, but it's better. Now, when you have them on a seed diet, you do have to make sure that you incorporate vitamins and calcium into their water to make sure that the birds stay healthier. So here we got pair number 2, which is my Lutina hen with the split to Lutino male. Let's check their nest and see. You can see that she is going heavy on that nest. So it's a matter of time before this one lays eggs too. Over here we have the hooded parrot pair, number 1. Now this pair gave us a total of 4 chicks the very first time this year. This is the very first season I was able to breed them. She gave me 4 eggs, 4 chicks. Now unfortunately one of the chicks was eaten by a raccoon, and here we go. They started their second clutch. We have egg number 1 in this nest. Moving on to this pair over here, we have some plum heads. And here we have a very young male. He's 2 years old, and a hen that's around 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. So with this pair, I'm not exactly sure what's gonna happen. The male is still a bit too young. The female, she knows what to do. It's just a matter of fact of knowing whether he's gonna mount her correctly and whether those eggs are gonna be fertile. Fingers crossed that they are fertile. Let's look at the nest. I know for sure she's been coming in here. So yeah, she's been going in there and she has been shredding material. So it's only a matter of time before she lays as well. And hopefully those eggs will be fertile. Now moving on to pair number 2 for the hooded parakeets. Now this pair also had 3 chicks this past season. She laid 4 eggs, only 3 of them hatched. And I believe she should be on her second clutch as well. And there we go. We got 4 eggs. She has started her second clutch. While on the topic of the hooded parrots, I was in here a few weeks ago taking away the chicks from the parents. Now these were birds that were completely winged and eating on their own, and I wanted to remove them because I wanted to reduce the risk of having any more of them get eaten by raccoons. Now luckily I was able to keep the raccoon population under control by trapping the culprits that were coming to the aviary. But nonetheless, I took those chicks home, I ran some DNA tests on them, and the results are back. 3 males and 3 females. Now 2 of the pairs have been sold and shipped off to their new owners, and the 3rd pair I plan on keeping here with the hopes that eventually after 2 years they will start reproducing, same as their parents. Moving on to my last plumhead pair. Here we have the male outside, and I know the female on this pair is inside of the nest. She's incubating. She's the first one every single season to lay eggs. So let's check her out real quick and see how she's doing in there. And you can see mama, she's in there. She's incubating. She has 4 eggs so far. and they seem to be all four fertile. They seem very dark in color. So she's been doing a good job at incubating. So for this pair, I'm probably gonna actually just leave those eggs in there since she's incubating so good. I have a countdown going on, and when they're due to hatch, I'm either gonna pull them once they hatch or I'm gonna pull them shortly before they hatch, because one of the problems that I've been having with this pair in specific is that the chicks get splayed legs, and that's because she likes to excavate a lot of the nesting material and just kind of leave the bare bottom of the box. So the last 2 years, I've actually had 2 chicks, one from each year, that has had splayed legs and has ended up dying because of that problem. Now at the end on this side, we have a kakariki female, and this female needs a male. I got to go to a friend's house to go pick up a male that he has for me, so we'll be bringing him soon to the aviary here. And then the last cage is my beautiful little legless hen. And she's the one that was attacked by the raccoons and both of her legs were taken. Unfortunately, that hen is no good. She'll never be able to be introduced into any of my breeding programs, but it is what it is. What can you do? Let's head over to the house so I can show you some of the goodies that I have prepared for once these guys give me the eggs and once they hatch and so on. I'm ready. I'm ready for this season. Let's go see it. All right, guys, we're back home. Behind me is everything that I'm gonna need for the breeding season. Let's start off with the incubator. The incubator is a Nurture Right 360. I got that off of Tractor Supply. I believe I spent $190 on that incubator. It's the same incubator that I've used in the past with the other eggs. It works perfect. So if it works perfect, I'm not gonna change anything. I keep the temperature on this at 99.5 Fahrenheit, the humidity between 30% and 40%, and the eggs, the hatch rate was just perfect. I've also got some fake dummy eggs here. These are pigeon eggs that I ordered off of Amazon. They kind of resemble the plum head eggs. They might be slightly a tiny bit bigger, but hopefully they work great, because the plan is to pull the eggs from the plum heads at the farm, but I want to put fake eggs underneath them so that they can go through their normal incubation period. In case I fail anywhere here, I'm always able to grab the chicks and run back to the farm and put it underneath one of the pairs as a foster parent, and they're still going through their normal incubation cycle, so it's more of a chance that they will accept the chicks. This is the brooder. The brooder is called a Pet Brooder 90, and this thing is humongous. So I wasn't lying when I said you could fit a baby human in here. You can see how big this thing is, and it actually has a picture here of a baby human, but it says not to put one in there. So it's crazy that they have to put that there, but if they put that notice there, it's because someone has tried. Do not try to put do not try to put a baby in there. But this works great for dogs. Ideally, that's usually what it is used for. But I got a lot of reviews and people from the parrot world that told me that they have used it or know someone that has used it and it works great. So I thought, you know what? Let's give it a try. Now this thing has everything. It has oxygen nebulizer. It has the temperature reading, it has the humidity. I mean, you can control practically everything with this thing. And it's great because the size of it is so big that I will be able to fit multiple clutches in here without any issues whatsoever. Now this thing, brand new, if I'm not mistaken, goes for around 1,400 bucks. I didn't pay that. I went on Facebook Marketplace and I was able to get this one secondhand for $800. Which brings us next to the hand feeding formula. And the reason why the hand feeding formula is not up here is because I didn't want to put the company on blast. You guys be the judge and let me know if you think I should or not. This is the story. So with the hand feeding formula, what happened is that I ordered from a company that I've used in the past. And that company, I've ordered pellet foods from them, and it has worked great. You can smell the difference in their food. It smells fruity, it smells fresh when compared to other pellets that are out on the market. So ideally, when it came time to now ordering hand feeding formula, I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back to the company that I know has great products. So I end up ordering a feeding syringe from that company. I end up ordering 3 bags of hand feeding formula, crop milk, which is something that is given during the first 5 days of the chick's life. And I end up ordering 2 bags of the hand feeding formula. So a total of 3 pounds of hand feeding formula and 1 syringe. So I end up spending a grand total of $130 something for 3 pounds of food and a hand feeding syringe. That's a lot of money, but only the best for my birds. I've already invested $800 and almost 200, I got almost $1,000 invested into making sure that these birds succeed and live. So why not buy them the best? So I end up getting that formula. It arrives here mid-February. I look at the expiration dates, and the original crop milk expires next year. We're good there. But then the 2 bags of hand feeding formula expire February 2026. We're already in February. So I look at the packaging slip. Maybe they made a mistake. Let me look at the packaging slip, and I look at it and I see that it says that the bags expire at the end of the month in February. So technically they're not expired yet, but they're gonna expire within a few days. So I reach out to the main company, because here's the other thing. On the packaging slip, I noticed that the name of the company that shipped the products seemed to be a distributor. It didn't seem to be the original company that I ordered from. So I thought, why not reach out to the main company? I have somewhat of a relationship with these people. Let them know that I got sent out products that are practically expired. I don't plan on using them this month because my chicks are not gonna hatch until sometime by the end of next month. And the product's gonna go bad. I don't wanna risk giving expired hand feeding formula to these baby birds and potentially lose them. So I reach out to the company, I send them an email, I let them know about the situation, and their response was, stick it in the freezer, it'll last longer. It's unbelievable. So that, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that felt like a gut punch, man, from a company that I trusted, a company that I really, really liked their products. And then something like this happens, and it almost felt like it was like this product's about to expire. So rather than us taking a loss, we're gonna send it to you. It's your problem now. Freeze it, it'll last longer. It's no big deal. Why are you complaining? I mean, unbelievable, man. So that kind of set me back a bit there. I ordered hand feeding formula from a completely different company. That's on the way. Hopefully no issues there. But man, I'm hurt with that, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm overreacting. You guys be the judge. I mean, if you order a product and it comes and it's expired or about to expire within a couple of days, if you're spending all of this money on this product and you reach out to the company and you tell them, hey, you know, maybe there's a mistake here, the product's expired or it's about to expire, and they tell you, oh no, shove it in the fridge, you'll be fine. Like, I understand expiration dates on products, most often the products will last longer than the expiration date, because what ends up expiring is not the product itself, but the container, whether it be the bag or whatever the case. But I'm at a point where I have so much invested into making sure that I succeed this year that I don't want to risk it by giving them something, especially baby birds that I'm hand feeding from the day that they hatch. They have zero immunities, and I'm gonna feed them something that could potentially hurt them and kill them and completely destroy my breeding season that I've been working for the last 3 years to get to this point, and hopefully have this be the year where I am successful. I'm just not willing to risk it. I don't like their response, and to be honest, it felt like something horrible to do when you're such a big company, and you know, ideally customer service should be your main priority. But we'll keep moving. Listen, I'm happy with what's going on. Hopefully this year will be the year when I have chicks, and I will make sure to keep you guys updated. But in order for you to be updated, you have to make sure that you go somewhere up here or down there and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.